This reserve's been here nearly 50 years. It's 2 years' time, it'll be our 50th birthday. And there's about 145 hectares, most of it covered in water.
So that's obviously of interest to me because I'm trying to promote all the fish species. And I know over this weekend you've actually done something where you've tried to find as many aquatic species as possible, haven't you? So.
Yes. We started last year at the beginning of our 50th anniversary with a bio-blitz, but we did it instead of 24 hours, we did 50 hours. And we enjoyed it so much we thought we'd do it again. So we did it last year in August, and then we thought we'd change the season as well and do it in May. Last year we looked a lot for mammal trapping, and this year we thought we'd like to give it a different theme each time, we've decided. And with 80% of the nature reserve being underwater, we thought what better than to find new aquatic species for the reserve.
Well, I remember I came along last year and I think your fish records were virtually nothing, really.
Terrible.
And to say that the River Trent that runs at the back's got about 30 species in it, and I think in the day I found like 6 just with a net. So it's great that reserves are doing this, finding different species and whatnot. So, and did they get many new species on the recent one?
Well, our target last year and this year was to have more than 50 new species for the reserve, and last year we had about 99, and this year we've beaten the 50, and we did wonder, with the weather being not so great, if we'd be able to achieve that this year. But we have hundreds of species were recorded and well over 50 new ones for the reserve, and even a county record as well. So it's been marvellous.
Great. Well, I'm actually going to see if I can find a species that's quite endemic to Nottinghamshire now. So I'm going to just walk off and see if we can find those. So I'm at the back of the nature reserve now, and we're along the banks of the River Trent, the 3rd longest river in the country. And it has a bit of a secret. It's one of the only rivers in the country that has the spine loach. Now, if you're scratching your head because you've never heard of that fish, I wouldn't be surprised. They're not a very common fish nationally, but the River Trent is probably the best river in the country to find them. And here at Attenborough Nature Reserve, I'm going to see if I can scoop one up with my net. They're really unique fish. They actually are one of the few fish that can breathe air. They'll come up in really highly polluted water. So we're just going to see if we can scoop one up now. There are actually 2 species of loach in the country. You've got the stone loach, which are fairly common on small gravelly streams, and then the spine loach, which is slightly smaller. And oh, right on cue, there's a little guy. Okay, we'll just put him in the tank. There we go. So you might wonder why I'd get so excited over just such a small fish. But it's interesting, on such a large reserve like this, these fish were only recorded last year by myself, and that was more of a fluke just netting around. And reserves can have all kinds of hidden treasures such as these, if you just look for them. With spine loach, because their mouths are so small, anglers would never catch them. And because of their habit of living in silt, most people would never see them, so they get very little publicity. But they're amazing little fish. The markings on them are stunning, despite their size. I mean, they get no bigger than your little finger in general. And they're actually a UK BAP species as well, so they've got protection plans under them. When you think that the minnows, the sticklebacks, the loach, these provide food for kingfishers, grebes, otters, all these lovely species that we like to see when we're sitting in the hides, they all feed on these little guys, so it's important to protect them. So it's fantastic what Attenborough Nature Reserve have done over this weekend, doing the bio-blitz and looking at all the species underwater. It's also great that freshwater fish are being put first on a nature reserve, and this is something that I would really love other nature reserves around the country to do. There are simple steps nature reserves can do to help our freshwater fish. One such way is putting up charts in hides. These can be small A4 size charts with just the common fish species in the nature reserve, and then when a bird catches them, like a grebe or a cormorant, people know what fish species they are. Other ways, if they have visitor centres, is having small fish tanks, putting species like sticklebacks, minnows, bullheads, and then that way people can see some of the fish that they just would never normally see. If nature reserves are feeling really adventurous, they could always do a raised pond. So these are ponds that are above ground level, they have a large see-through screen, clear water, and you fill them with native freshwater fish. This is a great way to show the public fish that they just wouldn't normally see in their natural habitat. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe.
Until next time, cheers.